Bring back the old time days. Bring back them old time ways. I know everything must change, but I still love the old time days. Used to be everyone could afford to live right, just to feel nice, didn't need no paradise. Now open your eyes, look around, smoke in the city, and what was pretty, crying out for sympathy. So bring back the old time days. Bring back them old time ways. I know everything must change, but I still love the old time days. Used to be everyone cared for each other, lived like brothers, respected one another. In times gone by, we used to share. Together we'd make do. And if I draw a susu, what was mine was yours too. But I know them days done past and gone, and I know that life must carry on. But if I must join in with the pack, then I'm going back, I'm going back, yeah, 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 back to the old time days, back to them old time ways.
With that being said, I would like to pass you over to this afternoon's master of ceremony, IERE Village one and only, Mr. Ryan Bechu, an award-winning journalist, editor, and author whose career spanned more than 16 years in the media business at CNC3 Television. He attended IERE Village Government Primary and has built a reputation for impactful storytelling, in-depth reporting, and leadership in Trinidad and Tobago's news industry. He is the author of An Unending Search, a body of work which reflects his passion for history, identity, and human experience based right here in Princestown. Despite all his accolades, he has remained deeply connected to his roots in IERE Village and has expressed great honor being here this afternoon to celebrate this award ceremony where we will be highlighting community achievement and excellence. Please welcome Mr. Ryan Bechu.
Thanks very much, Clarence. So, I must tell you that having had Clarence do my introduction and sort of listening to him summarize my journey, I've done a lot of these emceeing, hosting within the realm of my media career over the last 16 years. But this one, no pun intended, is very close to home. And this one feels a lot special than most. Because for all the others, I didn't have to pass my house to actually get to the venue. Literally, I could walk home. And on my way here, as a drive from Central to get here, and going through the program one last time and thinking about what we were going to do here this afternoon, it's a little bit difficult to put into words. But here we are honoring people from IERE Village that have done enormous things for IERE Village, that have done enormous things for the country, like Mr. Edwards and Dr. Edwards. And I have both pride and problem with it. The first thing is, I'm very proud of where I've come from. We have the First Presbyterian Church, one of the oldest mosques, if not the first mosque. Last week I was telling Miss Polly that I didn't realize until last week, visiting IERE Government Primary School, that is the first state's primary school in Trinidad and Tobago. So we have so much to be proud of, so much firsts within a 1 mile span, you know, or even 1 kilometer. First Presbyterian Church, first primary school, first mosque, so much to be proud of. But why did I have to wait until 37 years to learn some of those things? And my brother and my sister, who grew up here and went to the same schools that I did, they had to learn it from me, and they're older than me. And that's what I hope in the next couple of hours, that we will be hearing about and discussing how our next generation, our new generation of IERE Village students and children will be able to get this information a lot earlier. I'm really happy to be here. I'm honored to be here, and I thank the organizers for not only doing this, but thinking about me to lead this program this afternoon. And with so, I would like to invite Mr. Taran Singh to deliver our opening remarks this afternoon. Mr. Singh?
Hello again. So I just want to keep it short. On behalf of Mr. Rakesh Suku and IERE Concepts Limited, we would just like to welcome each and every one of you all to our function today, and also to the grand opening of our operations building. So I do hope that you enjoy and make the best of the evening and fellowship with each other. Thank you.
Thanks very much. So when I went to college in Port of Spain, and even at work, you know, there's always this little bit of a joke kind of thing on me about why I'm so religious, you know, why do I take religion so seriously? And then I have to tell people, well, I grew up with a Presbyterian church, a Pentecostal church, a Baptist church, and a mosque right next to me. I didn't really have a choice. But so, really and truly, I think everyone will agree with me that religion plays an integral part of IERE Village culture and history, given all of what we have in this small village. And so we would like to call on Chief Ricardo Barrett Hernandez to lead us in our opening invocation. Chief?
Very pleasant good afternoon to each and everyone who are gathered here. Before we begin the actual prayer, would like to say how pleased we are coming from Santa Rosa First Peoples Community based in Arima to be with you here at this time. We want to thank the management of IERE and the organizers of this very special event as they celebrate their 20th anniversary for including us in their program. We are descendants of the very original peoples of this land, Kairi. Your village is IERE. Kairi, which meant to the indigenous people simply that place away from the mainland. This evening, we will send our prayer to the Great Spirit who we call Tamushi Adayali Wachinachi, who is the Great Father, the Great Spirit of all creation. In the indigenous tradition, we have not seen that absolute form of the Creator, but that Creator, that Great Spirit manifests himself, herself to us in the 5 vital elements of life. Starting with Madre Tierra, Pachamama, Mama Hororo, Mother Earth. And then it moves to the Yakuas or the spirits of the atmosphere into the fire, Yakua Hikihi. And then we have the element of the water, Yakua Inyabu. And then we have the element of the breath that sustains us, and the element of the spirit that moves through our being and through our space. And as we bring these 5 vital elements of life that sustains us, without them we are dead. We are not in this space. We pray that our prayer will rise from the earth to the highest heaven. For the heavenly region is where the Yakuas of the Great Spirit dwell, but also attend to us on Madre Tierra, Pachamama, Mother Earth. So we send our prayer. Ehei, 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 Papa Tamushi Adayali Wachinachi, Yakua Pachamama, Yakua Inyabu, Yakua Hikihi, Yakua Inyabu. O Great Spirit, we ask that you receive our prayer in this hour for this very special event, where you have brought your people together in this space in commemoration of 20 years of work and toil. We pray a special blessing upon the organizers and the management of this organization. We pray for all those who attend this event at this time, and for those who will be bestowed with recognition, that through this activity you may continue to bless and inspire your people to show what life is about, what community is about, what living is about. We give you thanks for your many blessings. And we ask that you do not judge us according to the weakness of our humanity, but because we believe in the power of your existence and the power of the Spirit that sustains us in every way. Hey, Papa Tamushi Adayali Wachinachi. You placed us upon the lowest earth. We send our prayer to the highest heaven. And we ask that the Yakuas, the guardian spirits, those of the east, those of the west, those of the north, and those of the south, bear witness to our prayer. As we were asked to do a smoke ceremony. In the smoke ceremony, we create a real fire that most of you will be familiar with because it is very close to the Hindu tradition. And as you would do through Havan, we would do through the smoke ritual. adding different ingredients as per the occasion. And as the smoke rises to the heavenly atmosphere, we pray that the Great Spirit receive our prayers and return blessings to us in different forms. We are unable to create that fire here in this space today, so we have a simple ceremonial smoke of the incense. And we pray that this company will continue to grow from strength to strength, and Tamushi will protect and bless with more success and more fulfillment to lives. Ehe, Papa, Tamushi, Adayali Wachinachi, ehe.
Thank you very much, Chief Ricardo and your team. Moving right along, we now have a monologue from one of the most talented performers in Trinidad and Tobago, Narad Mahabir. Narad is a Trinidadian scenic designer and actor who earned his BFA at UTT's Academy for the Performing Arts. He has worked extensively with IERE Theatre Productions and the National Theatre Arts Company, creating sets that bring stories vividly to life. His notable designs include Junction Village in 2021, The Tempest in 2022, Jean and Dinah in 2023, A Brighter Sun in 2023 as well, In Between in that same year, and A Moon on a Rainbow Shawl in 2025. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and welcome Narad Mahabir, who will present his monologue, an extract from High Arima.
Ye mountains, valleys, hills and dales of my native land, where I was born and bred, to enjoy the freedom of a mighty chief, as heretofore my ancestors have done. What evil hap is this which brings us all thus low? To serve as menials to a foreign king who lives across the ocean and who does not come to see and know his people. Was it ordained, decreed, or even settled that the children of thy woods and forests should be extirpated, their names forever blotted out and made extinct? If so, by whom or what? Repugnant thought which heats my blood to the boiling point, where savage slaughter seems the only vent for pent-up feelings, long and hard repressed. The freedom of this land, in mountains, valleys, hills, and dales, was given me by my father and this tribe, which I am chief and champion. And must I cringe and bow to strangers who have hither come from heaven knows where, with no more right than one a conquering sword confers? I would be forced to birth and station did I not seek by force of arms and guile to drive the haughty band of torturers back to the sea from whence they came unbidden. This is my firm resolve, to do or to die. And may the spirit of my ancestors imbue me with the courage not to yield till I have overcome or died in the attempt. I had hoped for 100 muskets from the neighboring island of Tobago to match the 100 of Antonio. But again, I've been refused the aid I sought. So we must make some other effort to dislodge the Españoles from IERE. I do not despise our strength or our numbers. Courage soon will come to men who still have faith in those who lead. Give but the assurance of this, and men will follow into the jaws of death if the need arises. 'Tis well. 'Tis well, friends, comrades, nay, brothers, Nepoyos and Arawaks alike. I thank you all exceedingly, and trust that the hope that you place in me would by the event be justified. Too well, I know how deeply we have suffered. Our homes destroyed. Our children swept to slavery. And the peace and freedom that once was ours and that by right divine, forever lost, if fear of a greater suffering now prevents us from recapturing what was lost and what may not else be gained. The end will ever justify the means. We know no higher rule as children of these woods and forests and purling placid streams, who dare usurp our right and take by force what was decreed to us by right divine. To a double shame in me, to bow and sue for grace with suppliant knee to a rule that only force upholds. Then force to force will clear the issue and say who is to rule and who must obey. They have a source of strength, mysterious, dark, not yet fully known to us. This strength is what has brought them to this land and what has kept them here. This strength is some mysterious knowledge gained by the worship of a being hung on a cross. They say this being is the Son of God, who left high heaven where he lived in all his bliss to come to earth to teach men how to be kind. Sad returns meseems for all his pains, nailed on a cross to die between two thieves. But these men do believe in him though dead, and say he liveth and sitteth at the right of God, his Father, who would come again to judge us all, to know how kind we have been. Yes. If this be so, then why do they that teach this themselves not taken this knowledge to their hearts and treated all men with kindness as their God would have them do? They say he is their strength, their chief support and help in ages past, and for ages yet to come, mysterious faith, which teaches men to be kind and unkind. Now that I have revealed my only fear, the rest seems greatly possible. We know that their chief will be visiting Arenales, and that right soon, with his suite and counselors. My purpose is to lie in wait just where he lands. And as the party winds its way through the thick woods on the river's bank, we should from ambush suddenly surprise and surround them all and bring them all to a slaughter by this one stroke. If we prove successful, we would have made the Españoles headless and the easy capture of their chief town a matter of great certainty.
Thank you very much, Narad. So Narad would have worked very closely with Mr. Edwards and Dr. Edwards in his performing arts career, and we were really, really honored to have him here this afternoon with us. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we would like you to stand for the national anthem, and it will be sung/played by Shrey Suku and Mary Manmohan. Mary is a self-taught church-going musician and an avid lover of cats, I must say as well, with her upcoming talented student, Shrey, who will be performing the national anthem on pan and piano. Thank you very much, Mary and Shrey. Everyone can have their seats now. So, I mentioned a little bit earlier that this afternoon is very special to me. I don't think anybody else in here will be able to say that they've had their kindergarten teacher, their primary school principal, and their secondary school teacher all in this room this afternoon. That's me. That's how lucky I am this afternoon. So when I tell you that this is very special to me, I mean it in every sense of the word. And now I have the great honor of welcoming my secondary school, my first form teacher, Dr. Izora Edwards, to the stage, who will give us a brief history on IERE Village. Dr. Edwards was born and bred right here in IERE Village. Like her father, her uncle, and her siblings, she attended the IERE Government Primary School before moving on to Cowan Hamilton Secondary School and further studies. Her qualifications are in theater arts, literatures in English, education, and cultural studies, the later from which she would begin her PhD at the University of the West Indies. Dr. Edwards is a former curriculum officer in the visual and performing arts at the University, at the Ministry of Education, and a former lecturer at the University of Trinidad and Tobago and UWI. Her research was based on heritage of Princestown, including IERE Village. These days, she is mostly a writer and editor for IERE Trin Publishing, of which she is the director. Dr. Edwards is also an executive member and front-of-house manager of IERE Theatre Productions Limited, and we have the utmost pleasure of having Dr. Edwards deliver a brief history of IERE Village. As George Lamming used to say of the seas in the Caribbean, these seas are history because of our shared past of crossing seas to get here. Well, these streets of IERE Village are also history, and Dr. Edwards will present that history to us now.
Good afternoon. All protocols observed, all dignitaries. Standing here among you, I feel as though I am standing in the very center of my own life story. I was born in IERE Village. I went to the IERE Government Primary School. I prayed at the IERE Village Muslim Mosque. I played with my cousins and neighbors in these hills and lagoons and traces. I see some of my cousins here. This evening, it is a privilege as a daughter and a resident of IERE Village to share a little bit of the story of IERE Village. I don't pretend to know everything about the history of IERE Village, but in a general way, I will try to share the history with you, some of which you probably know, some of which you probably never heard before. When we say IERE Village, we are calling a name with a very long memory. Research says that the word IERE came from the word Kairi, the old indigenous word for island. Proper research says that. Over the years, IERE has evolved as meaning land of the hummingbird, but that was basically just a touristic title. But let us go back a bit. If we could peel back the layers of asphalt on the Naparima Mayara Road, the old main road we are familiar with, and look deep underneath, we would see footprints. Footprints. For thousands of years, first people, I hope the chief is still here with us, first people, whether Nipoyo, Karina Pagote, Shaguanas, Yao, I hope I'm pronouncing them correctly, Chief, Shibayo, Kalinago, Arwaka, Warao, first people walked these ridges. They may have come by canoe from the Orinoco, or they may have crossed the ancient land bridge that once connected Venezuela to Trinidad. They walked from Moruga, on the south coast, you all are familiar with Moruga, through Indian Walk, stopping perhaps at Pity Cafe, just like they did at Corial Road Junction, for a little coffee and a rest before making their way to the Naparima Hill, San Fernando Hill, which was a place of worship for them. That Amerindian footpath, widened by centuries of footsteps, eventually became what was called the Royal Road first, and then the Naparima Mayara Road, which we know as Main Road. So when we drive on that road today, we are traveling on an ancient highway of First Peoples. And now you will probably understand a little bit the significance of the opening that we just did. This was their place before it was anybody else's place. Europe discovered this island much later. In 1498, Columbus's ship paused near the south coast, probably Moruga, to take on water and claim the island for Spain. I think we all heard this. Nearly 200 years after that, in 1687, Capuchin monks founded the Holy Cross Catholic Church in what is now called Princestown. We all know the Catholic Church. That was one of the first Catholic churches on the island, 1687. That's another historic institution. The three Catholic Capuchin monks gathered about 150 First People, caciques or chiefs, in order to convert them to Christianity. After that, the population of First People dropped, but some traders, some still made the journey along this footpath for trade. They traded in hammocks and parrots and whatnot, and to worship on the San Fernando Hill. So that walking continued until around the 1930s, when the white women of San Fernando High Society complained about the semi-nakedness of the women, and when World War II activities in the Gulf of Paria prevented them from crossing the channel. But back to the story. In 1783, the cedula population brought French Creole planters from Martinique. They started cocoa, sugar, and cotton estates all over the island, and including Magritude Estate. Now, Magritude Estate in those early days was partly IERE Village across the roadside. So Magritude was important to the development of IERE Village. With them, with these estate owners came enslaved Africans, and they lived in barracks all over. There were barracks all over the village. I don't know if anybody here is old enough to remember that there were barracks. Behind our mosque up the road there used to be barracks. So French patois became the language of that time. Then in 1799, the British took control of Trinidad. They established massive sugar estates in the hills of South Naparima, like Lothians, Cleghorn. I'm just calling the ones that are close to IERE Village that you are familiar with. Lothians, Cleghorn, Reform, Friendship, Brothers, Williamsville. And with them came an Irish-Scottish presence and the English church. The major aspect of the English church as it relates to us is the St. Stephen's AC Church in Lothians, which was established in 1825. In 1815 and 1816, another group arrived that is related to IERE Village. Africans from the United States who had been enslaved under the US Constitution and who had fought with the British in the War of 1812, they were promised freedom. They came here as free soldiers and as settlers, known to us as Americans. And I hope we have some of those descendants here. They were given 16 acres per family in forested land around the mission, Princestown, and further south. They brought with them their Baptist faith, and they created communities we still know by their company names, Third Company, Fourth Company, and so on. Some were settled in Gilmore Hill, and I'm calling the original name of the hill, which is what we know now as Jackson Hill. So when they were given this hill as a gift, some Americans, they call it Jackson Hill. That's right across the street there. The Americans also planted something else in IERE Village, the first official church in the village, the Mount Olivet Baptist Church, the first official church. Jackson Hill became a stronghold not only of Baptist worship, but of African drumming when drumming was banned in the rest of Trinidad. So up this quiet hill where we are, the drums of the African kept beating in secret and in strength. From 1845 to 1917, another great wave of people came. 143,000, more than 143,000 Indians brought as indentured laborers came to work the sugar estates, as we know. Many were sent to the plantations around this area. They too came with their religions, mostly Hindu, and about 10% Muslims. Right? I would mention the few Chinese and Portuguese and Syrian Lebanese and so on, but time. Now, in the midst of all of this activity, this little village played a surprisingly big role. Thanks. In a surprisingly big role in the religious history of Trinidad and Tobago. The IERE Government Primary School, where I and my father and perhaps my grandfather received our early education, began as one of the first, a little correction here, it wasn't the first first school. It was one of 30 of the first ward schools, they call them, run by the government, one of 30. So, and it was built around 1859. So it's not the first, but one of the first. Specifically for the children of plantation workers. In February 1868, John and Sarah Morton, Canadian Presbyterian missionaries, came to IERE Village. They occupied an abandoned Scottish Presbyterian church building that had been erected in 1843 to convert the Negroes on the estate to Christianity. The Scots soon realized that many of the Africans here were already Christian, mostly Catholic, and Americans were faithful Baptists. So they were struggling with the climate and conditions, and then the Scots, they left. This was just a few of them. Two of them, I think, they died, and their tombs are at the back of the church. The Mortons, however, they had a different approach. They learned Hindi. I'm saying Hindi Bhojpuri because it's either or. They preached Christianity in the language of the Indian laborers and through secular education. 2 weeks after the Mortons established their mission, another act of courage took place in IERE. A small group of Muslim men, including, I would call two names, Karavan, who is the ancestor of the Razaks. Anybody from IERE village would know who the Razaks are. And he arrived on the first indenture ship, the Fatal Razak, in 1845. His ancestral home is still in IERE village opposite Sachin. I think I saw Sachin. Yes. So, and Najir, the great-grandfather of the man who we call Breds Muhammad, whose children are here, they were part of a group of 5 men who established the mosque up the road. They had been praying in a cowshed on the Magnitude Estate since 1853. But when Morton started going house to house, yard to yard, calling Indians to convert to Christianity, these Mohammedans, Morton called them Mohammedans, as they were called, they resisted. They insisted that their faith was strong and worthy. In February 1868, just 2 weeks later, they built a proper mosque on a central site in IERE village, acknowledged as the first mosque. I think there is one older in Calcutta, somewhere, settlement, in the colony of Trinidad. So this is not just a village. This is a crossroads of the world stories. Over the years, the Amerindian Trail became a bridle path and a gravel road and a rough surface laid with pitch slabs from Labrie, and later bitumen with Barber Green machines. But the Zapate mud, in the dry season it baked and cracked, in the rainy season it swelled into a sticky glue. The walking path became a proper road without proper road infrastructure. The Naparima Road became one of the island's oldest and most important arteries. Today it is paved, yet still vulnerable to landslides. Our pastimes in the old days, I'm 68, so I could say that, were village sports with greasy pole. Little digression, I distinctly remember my uncle, Lal Chan, organizing these sports in a massive kind of way, and all the kids would be part of it, the whole village. School bazaars and fairs in IERE government, caroling at Christmas and Ramleela and Pagwa and so on. There were 2 cinemas in Princestown. We had none in IERE village. So there was a traveling cinema. I think Uncle Breds Muhammad used to be part of organizing that, where shows would come and we would sit in the open air and see the movies under the stars. The boys, Jackson Hill was an adventure in itself. The boys would climb for various fruits, then cool off in a spring. Apparently there was a spring in Jackson Hill. I can't remember it. Families would have outings to dig white marl from Jackson Hill to leap in their homes. We all remember that. Right. In more recent times, more houses of worship were constructed, more secondary roads and settlements were established. Many businesses were established, but the village had lost some of the community spirit along with some basic facilities. We have no proper community center. We have no proper cemetery. The one recreation ground is largely inaccessible because of, I don't know. Despite this, out of this village have come organizations that carry the name IERE proudly into the wider world. I would name 3. IERE Concepts, founded by Rakesh Suku, now a strong construction and project management company operated in Trinidad and Tobago since 2006 and in Guyana since 2011, investing not just in modern infrastructure, but in community heritage. IERE Theatre Productions Limited, founded by Victor Edwards, nurturing a theatre consciousness that promotes nationhood and national pride, giving actors, playwrights, and audiences across the country a chance to see themselves on stage and to see that our small stories are, in fact, big stories. Shiv Shakti Dance Company, formed by Michael Salakram in 1987 as a simple hobby, which has grown into a professional artistic institution, shaping the careers of dancers and choreographers and taking elements of Irish spirit to stages far beyond. Alongside these are some major housing developments I must mention.
and also many small businesses. When I began my PhD research, I discovered that IERE Village is no ordinary village. It looks very ordinary to the outside person. It probably feels very ordinary to some of you sitting there. It is a living performance of history. This is why tonight's awards ceremony matters. The people we honor tonight are carriers of this important story. They have done the work of development with or without official resources. To IERE Concepts, I want to say a special word of thanks. By supporting the documentation of this history and by investing in tangible artifacts for posterity, you are doing more than corporate social responsibility. You are performing an act of love. But documentation alone is not enough. Tonight, as we honor our elders and contributions, we must also ask ourselves, what legacy will we leave for those who come after us? And I'm sure we could create a list if we have the time. That's for another day. But thank you all for your rapt attention. There's so much more history about IERE Village that we could talk about. Maybe it would be placed in a book soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Edwards. And we want to move right along to a cultural item led by Delise Rabatali, Ubuntu. thank you very much to Delise and her team for such an incredible performance. I'd now like to welcome Dr. Rakesh Suku, who is the Managing Director of IERE Concepts Limited, to the podium to give us a little bit about the impact that he has had on this community and how he's grown in this village, as well as how his company's grown in this village. Ladies and gentlemen, a lusty welcome for Dr. Rakesh Suku.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks, Ryan. Guys, in a village, a lot of us sometimes doesn't realize what the names are, the proper names are of each other. For most of you all here, you all know me as Nari. So, just in case, the Rakesh is the formal name given by my mom. So, our company is IERE Concepts Limited, a leading project management and general contracting firm servicing international clients, public sector organizations, private companies, and many other private clients throughout the Caribbean. Our guys are very well known for their signature orange t-shirts, and it represents quality, fast service, and most of the times, importantly, when people see them, they trust them and they could drop their shoulders saying that, ah boy, finally help reached. Our story started exactly 20 years ago. Exactly. Tomorrow would make it the actual registration anniversary. Today means exactly 20 years. And it all started with a carrot shed project with a guy from Beach and myself, an old man, deceased now, boy. And while doing the project, we was like, you know, we could build carrot houses and make some money off of it. And we registered a company. We couldn't get the word tropical concepts, so I said, well, we're from IERE Village, we might as well name it IERE Concepts. And that's how the word came. That's how the company started. And from that, like many of us here tonight, our journey wasn't planned, nor was it intentional. However, all of us are here tonight, regardless of how we got here. We're here tonight to share tonight with each other. Like our ancestors who came before us, each of us has a story, and with that story it has struggles and adventures, but most of the times that struggle and that adventure goes very quietly, silenced, misses. No one knows about it. Tonight I would like to break that silence, and in breaking that silence we want to highlight some of the people here in their stories and in their struggles and in their adventures. We have a slide on the wall there. It has with it some pictures. And in those pictures, just like the other slides we have, it'll have some pictures. Those pictures most of the time tells our story better than words can. However, some words need to go with some pictures, because just looking at a picture, you wouldn't know what the picture means. And at the start, I don't know if any one of you will recognize, but who I could remember, because we can't remember all of them. Some of them gone before us. My grandfather Pa on the Lalchan side, he was the one best known for the missing fingers and toes. Remember that? My grandmother Nani on the Suku side, she was one of the few that visited us when we lived in the back, as she enjoyed to spend a lot of time with my dad, having a few drinks, sometimes one too many, right? Together with Uncle Age. My parents are Margaret, better known as Gillen, and my dad, Toke, better known as Butcher. They were two brothers marrying two sisters. Never heard about that before. So we have some cousins. You wouldn't know if it's brothers or if it's cousins, sisters or cousins. Because as I said, while one was courting, the next one was the backfall man or the fallback man, and the two of them get through. So we had so many cousins because we came from a family of 8. And the amount of cousins that we had, you could have created football team, cricket team, this team, that team, any team you think about, because the amount of them it had. However, because of that, we could have done things without even worrying about finding friends to do things, because it's brothers and sisters, cousins, and the neighbor children, which is also the cousins, everybody gathering up to do all kind of crazy stuff. As time moved on, a lot of people came into your lives, or a lot of people come into people's lives. And these people help shape and share experiences and knowledge. And on this slide, it has some people there again. I mean, the slide, sorry about if it's not working, but the slide itself there has people like Jairam Kisun, Ricky Parson, Bull, a joiner, Mr. Carlos, luckily he's here with us still. I have Adam before Adam even started to get hair on his face. I have a lot of people who would have passed on. They went already, but what they left with us was lasting for us. And when we talk about those things, we talk about it in a manner where those are the people that would have impacted on our lives. Just like how the people in the crowd here would have impacted on our lives. And not because we very close to each other means to say that we didn't get impacted in some positive way. In the crowd here, we have some people. Mommy, I have a list, so I'm just calling it out according to how I wrote it down. Mommy, I remember when Mommy took me once when he had the air condition company to a supplier to pick up something. And I saw this man walking and the people in place, going in the back, take up what he had to take up, sign a document and write out. I was like, wait. And that's when I understood, or started to understand how people do business. He was also a good umpire. Barbara, she and Miss Tiny with the chenet tree and the little school in the back. Everybody know that. The chenet tree chopped down and the next one grew back up. Not so, Barbara? Mr. Cooks. We used to go and buy pig feed up by Mr. Cooks. Right? Because we used to mind pig. Izora, Dr. Izora. I know she has Carol. I hear people saying Izora. I was like, okay, who's that? But when I get my CXC results, she opened it before me, and I thinking I do bad. She started ball and scream, you pass everything, you pass everything. Again, Tanti Grace, every time you see she planting a plant. She is studying my plants now, with exchange. Mr. Harry's not here today, but 4444 used to take us around, and he was very instrumental, and we all know him to be very instrumental in the musical industry or in the musical part of the cultural aspect. Tanti Esther, she had the best plum tree in the whole village. You can't get sweeter plum, however, again, Chubby down just pick out the plum, you don't get none. Irene will, that's my mom, that's the nickname for my mom. Nobody here can make better roti than she. Ask Ray, he is eat plantain and roti by she every Saturday morning. Mr. Kumar, he's my father's best friend. When you hear Mr. Kumar coming or Kumar coming, he and Mr. Kumar gone for the day. You can't find the man again after that. And when he come back home, he coming back stone drunk. It had no other way to say it. But that is bosom body, as the man say. Mr. Munilal, I always remember every time I see he eat a different car. And I want to know how he get a different car every so often, because I had a different car when I grew up. But from the red car to the next one, to the next one, to the next one, then to find out what he does do. And I started asking questions, how I could learn to be like that. Nigel Salekram, best puppet master in the world. Not in IERE village, in the world. Because we grew up listening and looking at these boys and them. So at that age, when we see them boys and perform, that is the best. And to date, it's still the best. Miss Pauline, while vice principal in the school together with Miss Bedo selling in the tuck shop downstairs, and Mr. Samaru coming with the little ice ball or the snow cone in the evening, I sure all can remember them things. Right? Shamila with Mr. Breads, well, Uncle Breads as far as we know, and Jamal, who had the pork in the fridge, but he's Muslim. We started to zip him out when he telling we hadn't eaten the little Jira pork. Mr. Suki, he up in the back there by the cane farm, not by the cane farm, sorry, by the weighing station. Everybody know Meow Meow, everybody know Suki. Heavily involved with the agricultural society, and anything you want to know about land, go by Mr. Suki. Vashti, the most hardworking lady I know when it comes to the village and environs, and never getting enough sleep. But one of the most helpful ladies that you could think about when it comes to getting anything done, at least for me. Probably I just use the phone more than others. Tanti Rose not here. She says she wasn't feeling well this evening. So Nige couldn't bring she. However, when we were ice, we used to go and Tanti Rose, I could get some ice please. And Tanti Rose right there, but she coming. Because she bothering she. But as my brother Barry say, we eat plenty of Tanti Rose fowl. Miss Angela, always fighting a battle for the community though. However, very approachable, very knowledgeable, and very, very well known by community leaders all over the place. Indar Paul Bihari, #1 performer. For those who know Shiv Shakti, if they know Shiv Shakti, Indar Paul Bihari was the person behind the scenes, guiding and helping and creating. But for us, he was the man to go to or look forward to perform for you for any event. Last but not least, Mr. Victor and Mr. Papa. That is how I know them. I don't know Papa proper name. Sachin. Sorry, I remember. Those are the two guys that created this idea that we have into fruition today. By two of them talking in the bar, when I say the bar, the haircut bar, the salon, whatever you want to call it, they came up with the idea of doing something for the villagers that were actually builders of the community that never got the chance to be recognized properly. And that little old talk sparked a conversation, and that conversation is what brought about this whole event today. So guys, in a nutshell, I want to say thanks to all of you, because in different ways, each and every one of you would have contributed directly and indirectly to the growth and development of me as an individual and us as a company. Because without the villagers, we couldn't go as far as we, because when Carney closed down, it's the villagers that started helping and working together. And it's those villagers that still work with us today. Sholo probably working with us more than 20 years, I think in 2003. And the same thing. It have guys here, Deva with me since 1998. In fact, since 1997. Yeah, I ain't that old, but I started work early. So it have guys here that sitting in the crowd here today that with us a long time. And have guys that we know going to be with us a long time also to come. Having said that, as IERE Concepts moves forward today, we host our first gathering here in this new building, as Taran said. This multi-purpose operations building now sits in the heart of the village. Look around, we're in the heart, we're in the middle. Anybody business you want to know, you can't come by me. You ask Nige and you ask Sachin. But we're in the heart of everything. I remember being small like Shrey, and my father lifting me over a wet mud track. People water used to come down the road there. And when you see we take down my mother curtain to go and check it down in the cola, we had to cross there. Slippers bus, I had to hold it in my hand, he had to lift me up. But my brother and them big, my cousin and them big, them going down the road to catch fish. And have our cattle right down the road there, we had to dodge the cattle because the Cascadoo and the Coscarub right there next to the cattle in that same pond. The place has changed, but for me the meaning stays the same, because which part my father used to lift me over is now we car park. We never thought it to be like that. Never. Not in this life. None of us knows what tomorrow will bring. But if we face it together as a community, as a team, we could tackle anything. As a country, IERE, the island which we now call Trinidad, has carried many cultures, many struggles, and many stories. As a village, IERE has carried entire families and generations, people who hold them in their hearts through their work, lessons, and spirits of those who came before us. Today, IERE as a company asks for your help in building a sustainable environment, encouraging cooperation, learning, and growth for everyone in the community through active participation and information sharing. As Dr. Izora reminded us, our history is too great to be forgotten. Thank you to everyone here as we continue to support it, as you continue to support us. May the universe and our ancestry guide us as we continue the story of IERE, then, now, and beyond. Thank you, guys. Abigail would have interviewed a lot of people here in this room, and she would have gathered information for a lot of you. The information she would have gathered sits here, some in the pamphlets in front of you. We'd like to just show you all ours first, because after this you all will be able to see yours. So to commemorate the 20 years anniversary of the company, my brother Andy, the other director in the company, and myself would like to just use this as a ceremonial opening of the building.
Thank you very much, Dr. Suku. I'd like now to welcome to the stage for another cultural item, the Shiv Shakti Dance Company. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for the Shiv Shakti Dance Company. We have now reached the part of the program where we would like to recognize some of our stalwarts in this community. And so to do that, I would like to welcome back to the stage Dr. Rakesh Suku, who will be leading this. Abigail will assist. I believe Abigail is right behind. And so, not necessarily. Yeah. And so we would like to begin. We have 21 honorees this evening, and we'd like to begin with 11, take a very quick pause, and then we'll come back with the final 10. And we'd like to start with Indar Paul Bihari. Let's give him a round of applause. Fondly known as Indar Karl Okulul, he's dazzled audiences across Trinidad and Tobago and internationally with his boundless talent in comedy, music, dance, and performance, leaving a legacy of joy, artistry, and cultural pride. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Indar Paul Bihari. Next up, we have Mr. Victor Edwards. Mr. Edwards has devoted more than 50 years to advancing theater, education, and culture, founding IERE Theater Productions, championing the arts in schools, and earning national recognition for his creativity, service, and lifelong commitment to community. Mr. Victor Edwards. Next up, we have Mrs. Izora Edwards. Dr. Edwards, affectionately known as Carol, has illuminated the heritage of IERE Village and Princestown through her research, writing, and theater, enriching cultural life and inspiring generations with her dedication to community. Dr. Izora Edwards. Next up, we have Barbara Hassan. Barbara has touched lives in IERE Village and beyond through her gentle dedication to children and persons with disabilities, embodying kindness, compassion, and quiet strength. Barbara Hassan. Next up, we have Ashwad Lalchan, affectionately known as Mummy. Ashwad has devoted more than 35 years to cricket as a respected umpire while nurturing young minds through education and service. And thank you for your service, Ashwad. Next, we'd like to honor Grace Lalchan. Grace has been a pillar of faith and service, from teaching Sunday school to leading women's fellowship and community groups. Thank you for your service, Grace. Next up, we have Mr. Munilal Lalchan. Mr. Lalchan has uplifted IERE Village and Trinidad and Tobago through his lifelong dedication to sports, culture, and national service, embodying integrity and leadership. Next up, Shamala Muhammad. Shamala has devoted her life to service at the IERE Village Mosque, embodying humility, unity, and faith. Her dedication to community and culture makes her a cherished and respected figure across IERE Village. Thank you, Shamala. And Zakina Mohammed is up next. Unfortunately, we don't have Zakina, but I am going to talk a little bit about Zakina's contribution to IERE Village. Zakina, lovingly known as Rose, has dedicated her life to caring for her family, her neighbors, and her community. Next up, Sherilyn Nanan. Known as Anne, or as I call her, Miss Anne, Sherilyn has always been a light in her community, from founding Humpty Dumpty Kindergarten School to teaching crafts, baking, and first aid. She has inspired generations. Her creativity and kindness continues to shine through her family and her neighbors. And her mom, Angela Gay Prasad. Miss Angela has dedicated her life to service, volunteering since childhood, leading village councils and supporting national organizations. For over 30 years, she has uplifted her community with compassion and commitment. And tonight, we have the remarkable honor of honoring her journey of giving back to our community. Thank you very much, Dr. Suku, and thank you very much to our first 11 honorees this evening. We're going to take a quick pause for Mr. Joel John, who has a very exciting cultural item for us, and we will return with the final 10 honorees. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Mr. Joel John.
I was walking home from school on a cold and lonely day. Took a shortcut through the woods, and there I lost my way. And it was getting late, and I was scared and all alone. Then a kind old man, he took my hand and led me home. My mama didn't see him, oh, but he was standing there. And I knew in my heart he was the answer to my prayers. I believe there are angels among us, sent down to us from somewhere up above. They come to you and me in our darkest hours to show us how to live and teach us how to give, to guide us with the light of love. When life held troubled times that got me down on my knees, there's always been someone to come around and comfort me. A kind word from a stranger to lend a helping hand, a phone call from a friend just to say I understand. Now ain't it kind of funny, on the dark end of the road, that someone lights the way with just a single ray of hope. I believe there are angels among us, sent down to us from somewhere up above. They come to you and me how to give, to guide us with the light of love. They wear so many faces, show up in the strangest places, grace us with their mercy in our time of need. I believe there are angels among us, sent down to us from somewhere up above. They come to you and me in our darkest hour to show us how to live and teach us how to give, to guide us with the light of love, to guide us with the light of love. Thank you.
Thanks very much for that, Joel. And we're going to continue now, so I'll invite Dr. Suku back on stage as we continue with our final 10 honorees. Unfortunately, Mr. Harry Phillip couldn't make it here this afternoon. Unfortunately, I don't think he's feeling too well. But I do want to still talk a little bit about him. For those of you who know him, he's fondly known as Old Man Harry. And he's really enriched IERE Village with his spirited Indian classical singing and lifelong devotion to culture and tradition. Harry couldn't be here, Old Man Harry couldn't be here this afternoon, but please give him a round of applause in his absence. We'll now go to Chandraban Ram Naresh. Please put your hands together. Mr. Ram Naresh has spent over 5 decades in IERE Village, enriching culture, faith, and community life, whether through his service to church and temple, his leadership in sports, or his dedication to the arts. He remains a beloved figure of unity and tradition. Mr. Chandraban Ram Naresh. Next up, Mr. Ritesh Ramlochan. Yes, fondly known as Papa or Sachin. He's a beloved chef, barber, and Papa. He's uplifted IERE Village with his humor, generosity, and compassion. His dedication to helping others and spreading joy makers make him a vibrant and cherished figure in our community. Mr. Ritesh Ramlochan. Next up, we have Mr. Kumar Rampasad. Kumar has dedicated his life to farming, faith, and community in IERE Village, creating jobs, supporting local temples and churches, and inspiring others with his generosity, leadership, and enduring commitment to service. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Kumar Rampasad. Next up, Miss Pauline Rampasad, also known as Miss Polly. Miss Polly began teaching at 17 and went on to serve as vice principal and principal, shaping thousands of young lives. A proud educator and community member, she continues to inspire with her lifelong commitment to learning and service. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Polly. Next up, we have Nigel Salikram, a multi-talented entertainer and Trinidad's first successful ventriloquist. He's captivated audiences with his originality, artistry, and cultural pride, leaving an enduring legacy that inspires joy both locally and internationally, Mr. Nigel Salikram. Next up, Hester Sampson. Hester, also known as Esther, has dedicated her life to caring for others, whether as a nurse aide across the Caribbean and the United States, or as a deaconess in her church. Her faith, compassion, and service continue to inspire IERE Village. Next up, we have Suki Sirnarain, also known as Vernon. And Vernon has championed agriculture and the environment for decades. His tireless advocacy for farmers and leadership across countless committees have only strengthened agricultural communities, not just in IERE Village, but across Trinidad and Tobago. Next up, Margaret Irene Suku, lovingly called Irene. She's brought joy to the IERE Village community through her Christmas parties that grew from 50 children to over 300 guests. Caring and generous, she has always shared what she has had with others. Her spirit of giving remains an inspiration to everyone that she has ever encountered. And last but by no means least, Vashti Suku. Better known as Charmaine, Vashti entered politics at just 16 years old and has served in many leadership roles. As founder of Friends of Reform/Manahambri, she has led charity drives and celebrations. Her dedication to service and leadership has earned her many honors, and we thank Vashti for being here this evening. Thanks very much, Dr. Suku. At this time, we would like to welcome for a special rendition Mrs. Rihanna Edwards Paul and Miss Alicia Edwards. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together.
Testing. You all hearing me? Good afternoon, evening. Testing.
All right, good evening, everyone.
My name is Alicia Edwards, and this is Rihanna Edwards Paul. We are what I'd like to consider ourselves as younger members of the community, of the village, up and coming members of the village. I must say that I'm very happy to be a part of something like this. I think this is an excellent, excellent initiative. So I must say kudos to you and kudos to everyone who made this possible. It's really incredible, this entire program, but also I think it's very, very important for us to continue the legacy of the village and continue sharing the stories. And I can tell you personally, I love hearing all of the stories. And I hope that we could find a way to continue sharing them with the following generations, the younger ones.
I see they didn't put the name of our song on the program, so we were debating what to choose, and we were lucky we chose the right one, considering all of the stories we've heard today. We really hope you enjoy and that this takes you back.
And feel free to join in as well.
Please join in.
Bring back the old time days. Bring back them old time ways. I know everything must change, but I still love the old time days. Used to be everyone could afford to live right, just to feel nice, didn't need no paradise. Now open your eyes, look around, smoke in the city, and what was pretty, crying out for sympathy. So bring back the old time days. Bring back them old time ways. I know everything must change, but I still love the old time days. Used to be everyone cared for each other, lived like brothers, respected one another. In times gone by, we used to share. Together we'd make do. And if I draw a susu, what was mine was yours too. But I know them days done pass and gone, and I know that life must carry on. But if I must join in with the pack, then I'm going back, I'm going back, yeah, 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 back to the old time days, back to them old time ways. I know everything must change, but I still love the old time days. Sing along if you know it, you know it. So bring back the old time days. Bring it back, bring it back. Bring back them old time ways. I know everything must change, but I still love the old time days. Ooh, 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 ooh. back, bring it back. Bring it back, bring it back. Ooh. Bring it back, bring it back. Bring it back. Thank you.
Wow. One more time for Mrs. Rihanna Edwards-Paul and Miss Alicia Edwards, taking us back in time, certainly. We have a few more recognitions tonight, and that really is for the staff here at IERE Concepts Limited. This is my first time in this absolutely grand and beautiful building. I'm not sure if anybody else has been here, but this is certainly a wonderful building, and you can tell how much emphasis the company puts on professionalism. And I'd like to welcome back to the stage Dr. Suku. Over the last 20 years, he's done an enormous job in growing this company in this small village, and he would like to recognize some of his staff who have really stayed with him throughout the course of this. So, Dr. Suku. I think Abigail might be around. I'm not sure if Abigail. Oh, okay. All right. And we will start with Suresh Suku. Please put your hands together for Suresh Suku. Next up, Shahid Khan. Next up, Geeta Mohammed. After Geeta, Earl Hector. Next up, Mr. Narendranath Sukai. Ravi Nari Suku. Philip Ramratan. Philip? Oh, Philip is outside. Next up, Vivian Mohammed. Lena Mohammed. That should be Lena Suku. Sorry. Change it. Owen Desmond Fraser. Brian Baburam. Kelton Piper. Taradat Ramkisoon. Carlos Connor. Stacy Sanka. Shazida Seema Hussein. Christopher Ned. Ronnie Huggins. Odaya Taylor. Zainul Sadar. And finally, Devendra Ramkisoon Singh. Thanks very much, Dr. Suku, and thank you to all of the IERE Concepts staff who have worked very hard over the last few months to put this program together and to put this wonderful venue together. We're inching closer towards dinner, and I'd like to welcome back to the podium Mr. Munilal Lalchan, who will do the blessing of the meal for us this evening.
Could you join with me? Let's close our eyes, bow our heads in prayer. Our kind and gracious Heavenly Father, we pause this evening to say thank you. Thank you for this occasion whereby we can come and share with each other. We bring before you, Lord, the entire IERE Concepts staff, from the leadership right down to every layer in the organization. We thank you, Lord, for blessing them with this beautiful building. And as we go into our dinner tonight, we pray, Lord, that you bless it to our bodies. Bless the hands that prepared it. And Father, may they always have to give and to give in abundance. and may it bring nourishment to our bodies. In your precious name, we pray and ask it with thanksgiving. Amen.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lalchan. I was joking to him before he came to the podium that he's probably very happy he's out of the office of the procurement regulator these days. I say no more. But I want to end by asking Ms. Vashti Suku to return to the podium to give a vote of thanks. This has been a wonderful evening, and we have a lot of people to be thankful to and for what has been really a well put together event. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Ms. Vashti Suku.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to greet in all the religious greetings. Sitaram, Namaste, Assalamu Alaikum, and I will say welcome to each and every one. And also at this very same time, we extend thank you to every single person who took part in this very elegant and eventful event this evening. I will not be able to call all names, but I'll call them in categories. Firstly, to the workers of this organization, for their dedication to the company and to the family. To the invitees and VIP guests, the honorary recipients of the awards. You all probably feeling very special like myself this evening. I want to say thank you to the organizers, to the directors, producers, and to every single staff, and also to the caterers. You know, I'm a bit sorry because the glasses were moved off the table. I wanted to offer a toast to IERE Concepts Limited, an organization had stood the test of time over the last 20 years. I personally know management staff of this company, and over is more than maybe about 21 years or 22 years. I met Rakesh several years ago. Rakesh, I want to thank you, your family, your company, because I know the dedication you would have put into the community, into your business, even into the political arena also. Thank you very much to everyone, the artists, the spiritual leaders. If I have forgotten anybody, I ask for forgiveness. But we thank God, and we ask that you continue blessing the IERE village and the entire of Trinidad and Tobago, so that we could have more organizations like this that will honor our citizens in the community and also to give back to the community. Once again, thank you for each and every one.
Thank you very much, Vashti, and let me echo my own gratitude for Dr. Suku and his team for considering me to return home for this auspicious occasion. Congratulations to everyone. I do want to just end by emphasizing that really and truly, you all are the foundation of this very historical village, and you all have really brought us, this current generation, and the generation that we will bring in to this community. You all really are that foundation. We want to invite everyone for dinner in no particular order, and as we have dinner tonight, we'll be serenaded by Mr. Joel John, who will return to stage. Have a good night, everyone.
I did not grow up in IERE Village. I came from Palmyra, actually, but I've lived in IERE Village from about 1966, and I have a lot of memories from there. There were few houses on the street, I used to go on the road, on the street, and draw maps and teach children. I think it's from my mother. She was an uneducated person, but I saw how she always helped people with whatever little she has, and always being a helpful person. That triggered me. I always try to help somebody less fortunate, or even though my children will say, well, why are you getting involved? But I like to help. So I did many things in the IERE Village Branch Road. At one time, I remember, I'm not a great cook, but whatever little I can do, I took a cooker and gas tank and whatever, and I asked a guy to use his place. And I invited young women, married women, and taught them to do things like peanut butter, stew chicken, Spanish rice, whatever I knew. And I taught them things like that. And I encouraged people to plant. And I would also encourage them for church and to take classes and stuff like that. So I've always been encouraging people, and I still do. So I am Grace Lalshan from the IERE Village Branch Road in Princestown.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Chanjavan Ramnaris. Everybody calls me Cooks. I actually live in IERE Village for the last 50-something years. The memories of IERE Village is so many. I used to frequent the recreational ground. I also frequent the temple and the church. And you know, I just like the area and the Nolly Tunnel, everything. Community work started for me about over 30 years now, 30 to 40 years, when I started to act in the temple. And from there, my costume was beards and clothes, right? And from there, that was somewhere in October, November, and in December, the village group asked me to do a Santa Claus with the costume, right? So I started doing Santa Claus with a dhoti and a kurta. Yeah, white clothes with a red ribbon around my waist. That was 1988, 89, somewhere around there. Yeah, so that started it, and from there I went forward. I started getting involved in everything. And then drama. I also into drama too, so you know, I just like doing it. Give a peace of mind and something to help the community. My name is Chanjaban Ramnaris, also known as Cokes. Yeah, thanks.
Well, I didn't really grow up. I moved to IERE Village when I got married. I grew up at Golconda Sugar Estate, not far from here. But I've been living in IERE Village now for about 44 years or so. No, the thing is that when you belong to a community, especially if you see yourself as somebody who has some kind of talent or skill to offer, you make an effort to do so. And from the time I came to IERE Village to live, I did some work with the community, working with the Shiv Mandir, doing some plays, working with the young people, and helping them in that way. Whatever people from the community need, whether they need to have you need to fill out a form, do a passport, make a recommendation, whatever it was, you know. People would always come and ask for those kinds of things, and those are the kinds of things that I would do. Well, when I was growing up, it had a thing called licks. And licks is to keep you straight. So all those values about things like going to church, being on time, going to school every day, listening to your parents, listening to the adults in the community, making sure you have respect for everybody, and the fear of God that was instilled in you. Those kinds of things that young people seem no longer to have the kind of respect for. Those institutions, those values, I think those are the kinds of things that I would like to see come back. From in my history, there's so many issues that I can talk about, but really and truly, the turning point in my life happened when I was in Form 6. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know why I was living. And that transformation came in Form 6 when I was about 16, 17 years old. Like I said, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what I was about. I didn't know what life meant. But, you know, it is the drama that I got involved in that really transformed my life, that brought discipline and understanding, to understand that you need to have cooperation to survive in this world. And that, to me, was one of the things that helped to transform my life. The other thing was, in 2013, when I was invited to do that play down on Nelson Island, and I kind of brushed it off because Minister Dikoto, I was doing Brighter Sun at the time, you know, and Minister Dikoto told me, he said, well, you had to make this a big production. And I told him, I said, listen, I had to think about it. And when I went to him, I was struck by the thought. I said, if I don't do this now, at this moment, my ancestors will never forgive me. And to me, that was brought about a kind of change in me in terms of how I approach the kind of work that I do now and will continue to do. Because there's a lot of work like that still lined up to be done.
My name is Dr. Isora Edwards. I am from IERE Village. All these people I'm seeing here, they're saying, hey, Carol. So Carol is my home name. Most people in IERE Village know me as Carol. But yes, Isora Edwards from IERE Village. Dr. Isora Edwards, born and grew IERE Village. Yes, I brought Victor to IERE Village. He ain't gonna admit that, but yes, kicking and screaming. I had a lot of relatives living. We grew up in a community on the junction there with my grandmother, my uncles, my aunts, my second cousins, all kinds of things in the area. There were no fences. We were by each other's house playing safely, like every game you could possibly conceive of. When we had no TV, the road was our playground. Those memories stay with me. Very, very clear in my mind. My grandmother, actually just across from here, this building, there used to be a rice lagoon. Rakesh has converted it very nicely into ponds and so on. And my grandfather and grandmother used to, they had that arrangement with the government to plant rice there when we were really, really small. And we used to come down, my grandfather and grandmother used to bring a whole batch of grandchildren down and lift us through the lagoon, through the water and so on. So when I come here, I get a little bit nostalgic about all the times we spent here. When I was growing up, there used to be one particular thing that was very, very community oriented, which was the village sports. And my uncle was involved in that. I see his two sons here getting awards. Like the prizes would be kept at our house. We live closest to the junction kind of thing. And it was huge, a huge sports. That was one thing. But then there was also the primary school fair where everybody used to dress up and as kids and go down the road to the fair and so on. You don't have, IERE Village doesn't have those things anymore, and it's a little sad. Yeah. Okay, so definitely it's good that there are some of these big organizations that are happening right now, and today is an example, but some more of that community spirit of people coming together, like a homework center and like village sports and things like that. I really would like to see those kinds of things happening in an active community center. A proper recreation ground, accessible recreation ground and things like that. We really, really need the community spirit back. My name and my vocation, Dr. Isora Edwards, aka Carol. My vocation right now is retired, no, not minding grandchildren at all, retired curriculum officer, university lecturer, but writer at the moment, writer, still researcher.
My name is Rihanna Edwards Paul, and I am a music teacher of 18 years. I used to live in IERE Village, but now I live in Golconda, which is just 15 minutes away, so the route's not far. I did, up until I was 27. One specific memory comes to mind. When I was small, the main road where cars and buses zoom by, we used to play cricket there, and bull carts used to pass. Now is literally on the suburbs of Princestown, and you can't even cross that road without looking about 5 times. It really has developed into a suburban area with lots of businesses and so on, and that's the main difference for me. For me, the village life and the village ethic is still there. I want to say thanks to IERE Village for that bush life. Having children of my own, I think the things that shaped me was climbing and falling off of trees, running through the cane field, getting chased by cattle, and just living with all of the village children as if they were my siblings, riding bike in the road and that kind of thing. It shaped who I am, and I have a different perspective on life simply because I had that kind of beginnings, because everything's so different now. That's what I'm most grateful for. If I had to put one word towards it, is values, because values is kind of an all-encompassing word. So we could say the village life values as in community and togetherness and being one with nature and that kind of thing, but also the values of, I did say community already, so living together, letting the children grow up together, taking care of your neighbors as they get older, and that kind of thing. That's what I would tell. And of course, South people are known for their warmth and hospitality. So that's what the first thing I tell North people, come down South for the warmth and hospitality. My name is Rihanna Edwards Paul, product of IERE Village, music teacher of 18 years, and happy-go-lucky country girl.
Hi, my name is Mr. Nigel Salakram, and I'm an entertainer. I have made a name by doing the art form of ventriloquism. I'm Master Award winner, Chutney Soca finalist, second place finalist, Young King finalist. I've been performing for many years. I also do magic at primary schools, a one-man show, doing the art form magic, ventriloquism, imitation, contortion, mimicry, one-man show. I came from a prominent family with 6 brothers. Everyone knows my brother Michael Salakram with the Shi Shakti. We have 6 brothers. My first brother is a doctor, second one is a DJ, third one passed on, fourth is me, fifth is Michael Salakram, sixth is Shami, my brother Shami Salakram, who is doing tremendous vocally, doing songs in the European market. He recorded with a lot of prominent artists away, so that is about it really. Everyone knows the Salakram family. Yeah. Well, I'm not really from IERE Village. I live on a stone throw from IERE Village, which is Margaretwood, just about a couple of minutes away. But everyone, we say, if anyone asks me where I'm from, I usually say IERE Village because it's a very prominent name that everyone remembers. The word Margaretwood is very difficult to pronounce. Sometimes when I go to the bank to pay check and they say, where you from? I have to spell out Margaretwood. You know? Well, I believe it's a Spanish word. I'm not too sure about the meaning, because the Spanish people still live in these areas before by me, so that's how we get the name Margaretwood, I think. And just like how we have Bonitento. Bonitento is a stone throw for me. The meaning of Bonitento, and not that one, good intentions, Bonitento. Well, I gain a lot of things, experience, grew up with a lot of great people. I always associated myself with prominent people from my village. I discovered my talent at Mr. Paul Bihari's home. If I have to give parents advice, I will say let the child try every sport, every activities, because I never knew I was a born ventriloquist. I born with a talent. I will safely say people brand me as a prodigy, but prodigy. But my thing is that if you have to achieve your goal, you have to believe in yourself. When I have entered Mastana Bahar, I never was in a stage, and I just believe you have to believe. If you don't have belief in yourself, you can't reach nowhere. You have to believe and you have to focus, and believe in yourself is the most important factor in life. Give me some voices. Well, some voices like, for example, if I go at a primary school and kids, I challenge them to call it famous characters. Most of them, if they call Elmo, say, "Hi, my name is Elmo. Elmo loves you all very much. La 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 la, Elmo's well." Scooby-Doo, Shaggy, Scrappy-Doo. Cookie Monster, Cookie, serious for Cookie, good enough for me. I can do all kind of, like, let's say, now the most famous name right now is hitting the airwaves and in cinemas. Michael Jackson. I believe if he was here, I believe he will say something like, "Hi, my name is Michael Jackson. I'm very pleased to be here. I love the IERE Concept Group. I love you guys. I love Kenny Phillips, one of the best producers in Trinidad and Tobago. Hold me like a river Jordan. I wouldn't say to thee, you are my friend." My name is Mr. Nigel Salakram. My art form, I perform the art form of ventriloquism, imitation, mimicry, contortion. I'm also a singer, I'm a songwriter, I'm also a dancer, but I do it privately.
Hi, good day. I am Lena Suku and I am from IERE Village, Princestown. I am a chartered accountant at IERE Concepts Limited. No, I was not born on this side of the country. Mr. Suku found me all the way up in Las Lomas, which is next to the airport, on that side. Honestly, it's a different culture, so to speak. In North, we do things one way. In South, we do things another way. People even speak differently. Once you hear them, you know either they're from South or from North. So it's very different. People do things differently here. Not the values, it's just general day-to-day things. That would be Mr. Suku, my husband, Rakesh. He has very big visions, and his vision or his focus and aim is to ensure what he does in this generation supports next 10 generations to come. Not like his forefathers who did stuff and brought him here, yes, but only brought him as far as there. He had to work his way up. So he doesn't want that for our son or the next few generations to come. There's a strong family value in the village and the company. In fact, well, most of the workers in the company are from the village, who was part of the cane field together with him and his parents when they were young. Yeah, it's very multicultural, it is. And in fact, one of our aim at the office and our company is that we promote all the different, whether it be religious or national, we promote every different event that it has in the country. So for Carnival, you'll see us put up a Carnival costume. For Indian Arrival Day, you'll see us put up something Indian related. For Independence, we might put up a Steelpan and a national flag. So we put up something to celebrate every different culture. Thank you guys. This is Lena Suku, Chartered Accountant at IERE Concepts. Thank you.
I'm Ryan Baitshu, born and grown right here in IERE Village, Princestown, and I'm a journalist. Yeah, I spent most of my youth and teenage years here. In fact, I probably would have left when I was about 26 years to live in a different part of the country, only because that it was more convenient to get to Port of Spain where I work. But the largest part of my life really was here in IERE Village. I think that was a challenging part. I went to IERE Government Primary School, which was like a 60-second walk from where I lived. Then I went to Cohen Hamilton, so I stayed right here in IERE Village to go to Moruga for school. But then when I started to go to college in Port of Spain, doing that Princestown to Port of Spain trek, I think I did it for 8 years before I sort of surrendered and I ended up moving to Port of Spain. But yes, most of my school life was actually formed and shaped right here in IERE Village. Yeah, IERE Village life, and not only Port of Spain life, but life anywhere you go in Trinidad or even Tobago, and even in those big cities in those first world countries is vastly different. Well, one, it's home. It's always been home. Home to you is special, as it is home to me is special. But more than that, IERE Village has always been a sort of slow, staggered, very country life, very close-knit communities. You know your neighbor who lives 100 houses away from you. You know people from the next street. You know people from the entire village because it's so close-knit. And I think in an age where we're sort of losing that in different parts of the country, it still stands ready in this part of the country. It may not be as it used to be, where you have children playing on the streets every afternoon or gathering at the recreation ground every evening. But still, it's still very symbolic here, that village life, that community life, and that family life. And I think it's barely holding on, but it's still present. 100% influenced how I live, my personality, how I get along with people, how I interact with people that I don't know. Because you come from this environment where even a stranger in your community is seen as somebody who is, for lack of a better word, family. And because that stranger is somebody that you know, somebody that you can relate to, somebody that you see as part of you, as part of your community, as part of your household, as part of the fabric of your community. You go out into the world and you say to yourself that everybody that you don't know is somebody. And I think that's been a huge factor in how I deal with people, not only as a journalist, but as a human being as well. It's a bit of a misconception. I actually started in news and current affairs at CNC3. There was a hole in sport to fill. I filled that hole. They liked me a little bit. They thought that the ratings were doing well. And so that I stayed in sport there for a long time, but I've always wanted to come back to news and current affairs. I hope proud, but on one hand, while I might have a lot of pride for where I've come from, IERE Village and to a greater extent Princestown, I also really am grateful. I'm grateful because I come from very humble beginnings. I come from a village that not many people know, but many people should know because of the historical aspect to both South Trinidad and Trinidad as a whole. But more than that, IERE Village has shaped me into what I am. You talked a little bit about my sporting journalism career. It was on these streets that we ran races. We measured 100 meters to the best of our knowledge, and we ran 100-meter races. Very young, trying to be Atto Boldon, trying to be Maurice Green, and then later on trying to be Usain Bolt in 2008. So, you know, we played cricket and we played football in the recreation ground. So more than just how this village feels about me, I've felt a sense of gratitude growing up in such an historical community, but more than that, how this historical community has been able to shape me in terms of sport and in terms of life. I'm Ryan Bechu from IERE Village, born and grown here. I'm now a journalist and an author. Thanks very much.
But Joel's singing good. You have a good voice. For that kind of music, you have a real good voice.
So, I just spoke to your wife, Sugut.
Yes. The boss lady. Lina Mira Suku is her name. Other known as the boss lady.
The boss lady. What's your wife in your
Yeah.
You saw my wife in the station.
Correct. That was she.
She's married.
Okay.
Hello. Understand the manners, you understand?
Luckily, it had no manners. All that we have, we part to play. She just do what she have to do and take that headache away from me so that I could focus on my part of things.
But I went there because she had.
Well, it's bigger than San Fernando and it's bigger than IERE Concepts. Too many times, having the type of friends that I have been blessed with to have, which is very, very ultra wealthy guys. I've seen that as soon as the person who built the business passes away, that the business dies. Similarly, a lot of the times people do business to make money, whereas the business shouldn't make money alone. The business should also allow you a lifestyle. And it's very selfish if it is that you focus on yourself and the people who help you make and help you do and help you create don't also or can't also live a certain way. And growing up, I used to remember every fortnight Thursday, our parents used to get paid in Carney. And you live hand to mouth. And you can't wait for that pay to reach before you go to buy groceries. And you're buying groceries for the next 2 weeks. And that culture showed me that, hey, it must have a better way. Because the Carney way was grow up, get a good job, get married, have some children, hopefully Carney hire you and you build a house. You go from board to concrete and that was your life. That was it. And too many times I saw it for myself where it happened where people work their whole life just to build a house. And now the workers we have, they are more than just workers because we created a lifestyle. So now from the people feeding the fish in the ponds to the people who running and managing multi-million-dollar cross-Caribbean projects, they all could communicate with each other at a certain level to the point where we no longer feel like worker-employer. Everything now, you treat, if I buy in KFC for me, I buy in KFC for everybody. If I eat in Chinese, everybody eat in Chinese. And the whole thing about it is that sustainability is most of the times overlooked and not even thought about. And it makes no sense that you do all that you want to do for your lifetime and as soon as you close your eye, everything perish away. And too many times I've seen it happen over and over and over again. Also, a lot of the times they have a saying, partnership is a sinking ship. And I got these sayings and I have all these little things that I get from very, very wealthy, very, very esteemed business people. And I look at them and I learn from them. I don't only learn what they do good, I learn what they do bad. And these are the things that I look at and I think, I say, you know something, what could I leave for my son? So that he don't have to go through the catch tail that I just had to go through on a daily basis. And the only way I could have seen it is instead of me going out there and hustling and trying to introduce myself, to do something good enough with the community where all of us as a community introducing ourselves. And the community itself is known. And in that way now, instead of me going and hustling, work will come to me. And the reason it will come to me is because my credibility and the company's credibility and the community's credibility will speak for itself. And people wouldn't just say, yeah, I know about Ole. Yeah, boy, we would like to work with Ole because we like what Ole stands for, because we've seen it in reality. A lot of the times, people look at, okay, if I do this, where's the direct payback? Where's the direct back pay that I'm going to get? I don't know. We build a building here. The building was supposed to stop on the floor that we stand on right now. The building was never supposed to pass a 2-container height kind of thing with a big shed in the middle. Luckily, I say, you know what, if Bagwan could build a big building, why can't I build a big building? And while casting the floor foundation for this building, a man sit down with me about 12 o'clock in the night smoking weed on my basin. And he said, boss, you know, you could go up at 5, this building about 7 stories. I said, yeah. I didn't go 7, I went 5. But the intention was to create a multi-story building, a multi-purpose rather building, where you could train, you could execute, and you could continuously do that for people to come. Because you know what happened? And I could tell you this without having proofed it, beside my visually seeing it. Long time it used to have junior sec and senior sec. People used to have tradesmen and tradeswomen coming out of the junior sec and senior sec. And you used to have good people coming out being able to physically do work. And parents didn't want junior sec and senior sec for their children. They wanted college and university. I couldn't afford to go to a university. Now I have a PhD. However, I don't like school because school to me doesn't really teach you anything. It teaches you how to regurgitate. But that same junior sec and senior sec used to produce people who could actually be successful in society by being productive in society. And now all that they have outside there is people running on a degree that can't do anything besides regurgitate. And so when me as an employer looking for people and talent, it's so difficult to get it now that you have to ask the question, how could I get the talent that I need other than training it myself and creating this talent myself? And that is why we created a space here that we could train people. And not just train our own, but train other people. Because look, we have international clients, for example, Huawei. Huawei wants us to be the training facility for Trinidad. To train people because we are the #1 community. We are the #1 company when it comes to telecom throughout Trinidad. Yeah. We are the #1 civil and infrastructure installation company for telecom, for both TSTT and Digicel. We support 80% of the telecom infrastructure development and installation throughout the country. We find the site, we build the site, we take down the site, we configure the site, we do the upgrades, we do whatever you need us to do. If their toenail hurt them, they call us. So hence the reason that we could not compete in the piper market, but we could compete in the niche market. Technical. Hard bargain, yeah. The guy hard bargain, yeah. Yeah. Everything down here is history. Yeah. And Carol, Dr. Edwards, Carol is my cousin.
Right.
When I was doing this project, when I was discussing this, I took Carol's PhD, and I dissected all the information of relevance relative to here, and I did that, and I used that to get all the older folks' information, and we put together the timeline, which is downstairs in the lobby. Right. So it have a lot of stuff that we can't talk about, but this is just IERE village. What about your village? What about his village? Everybody have history.
Trinidad history.
And it's Trinidad history. And so all of these things now, we partnered with certain people to start showcasing these things. However, the challenge is a lot of the times in Trinidad, we don't have talent to be able to run with certain things. And whoever does have talent and have discipline, have their own thing.
Have their own thing, yeah.
Right?
You can't get them.
Correct.
Too busy.
They're too busy. So most of the times the challenge is you could have the idea, but you can't find nobody to execute. And that is where, for example, the construction part of things now, that is where we just been. Because we don't subcontract. We have everybody in-house. So we have a staff of about 50 people in-house. So if you want anything built, if you build out of iron, wood, or plastic, we'll build it. But we don't have to worry about it.
What are some of the projects that you do that I may know?
So South Park Mall, we did all the infrastructure for South Park Mall. Renaissance, Heartland Plaza.
What's Renaissance?
Renaissance is the two tall towers going down in Carnage, Bayside, just after Bayside going down there. EFCL, we would have done a lot of the schools for the prefab schools for the government. HDC, we did a lot of the infrastructure retaining walls for them. That project in Taruba there. And for Digicel, we practically set up and maintain the Digicel network in Trinidad. And now the TSTT network. And not just Trinidad, but also the Caribbean.
And one suggestion for you, if you're getting any more schools to build,
Just stop.
stop building schools with auditoriums
that are not used. Acoustically, yeah. Yeah.
They build it like a box, echo, and
You see,
the community can't even come there and say, let me put on a show in there.
Correct.
Makes no sense.
But-
and it's hundreds there.
So I did my PhD in construction workmanship. I developed a construction workmanship developmental system to appraise construction projects. And people fail to realize a construction project, the construction part, a project in fact, the construction part is just about 20 to 30% the cost of the project. So if you're building a $1 million building, that's just 20 to 30% the cost of the project, because after that you have maintenance. And in Trinidad, we don't do maintenance.
That's not a word in our
No. So if you go by, this is one of our office. Our office is just in the next road up the road. And if you go in that office is about 12 years old. You'd swear it built yesterday. Because we pride ourselves on maintenance. It makes no sense you have something and then you stop taking care of it, and when it's time to take care of it, it no longer could be repaired. And this is the challenge most of the times. The schools and other organizations or other buildings that other people and the government and everybody does. Every building. Everything run down.
I used to do football with a guy, and they say, oh, you can't use this part of
Correct.
it and go across.
Yeah.
Because that condemned.
Yeah, that condemn it. Unsafe.
I said, but you know it getting old, you know
Correct.
time passing. You wait till it fall apart and
So just out the road here, at the entrance of the road to come in here, it have the site of the first government primary school. We just call it first because we don't have proof of it being otherwise, right? And when they were breaking down the school, Nizambash, they approached him and said, hey, don't break down that night. He said, okay, no worries, and he left the little annex for them. The annex was used as the community center for years. And the annex got so broken down because it was wood rotted. I was at one point in time the village council president, and after when I left, they came back by me and said, hey, we want to do some repairs on the school. Could you help us? We had $10,000. I said, with $10,000 could do what you want to do? So I went and I checked with them. And I had them keep the $10,000, and I put out probably close to $400,000 or $500,000 and restored the entire thing for them. And then we called the MP at that time, Rodney Charles, and we told him, come and cut the ribbon. And it's the same thing with some of the roads here. The roads are there, but the roads, we using the roads and the roads not maintained. So we do the maintenance ourselves. And we'll call the minister and say, hey, come and show face. Hence the reason why the minister not here tonight. Because I told him don't come tonight. I don't want him here. I don't want the politics to be part of what we do, because the politics don't help us.
Who's the minister?
The minister here is Dr. Rupnarain. Narendra Rupnarain or something like that, yeah. Somewhere on the side, I don't know.
He's parliamentary secretary.
Yeah, he didn't take the ministerial position. He took parliamentary, something with
culture.
Ministers don't help anything or anybody beside themselves. I'm saying it openly, right?
You let it?
Yeah. Right? The nice thing about being private, honestly, the nice thing about being private is you no longer need and having no affiliation for the government and then seeking government work. Because we very rarely do any government work, very rare. Right? Is that you don't need to bow and do anything that not of your nature because you're trying to get something out of them. Because they will ask you to do things that are not supposed to be asked. Right? And everybody knows it, but nobody says it. Because everybody hoping that they'll get a contract. We don't need no work from the government. We don't get work from the government. We don't need work from the government. Right? And it's because of that we could do things in a way where nobody could tell me, hey, we can't do that or we can't do this. So we do what we want. Right? And if you come my way and say, hey, what about so idea? Then we discuss it. Because that's where we were. We want constructive feedback, or we want feedback or ideas from people who know better than we about something that we don't know about. I know about construction. I don't know about what all they're doing here. But if you come and tell me, hey, you know something you could do, I can't sleep that night. I go and research in that. And by the next day I call you.
I honestly thought you did this here to do IERE Village news, or IERE Village.
All of those things are things that could be coming out of here. That's the intention.
I thought when I saw you, I say, you have a YouTube channel or
Correct.
channel.
Exactly that.
When they want to tune into what happened in IERE Village, somebody gathered news.
Correct.
Every Monday night, Tuesday night,
yep.
you tune on to see IERE Village. Hey, all of this happening,
Yeah.
this road thing, this road this
And it's not
thing.
just IERE Village. You see, and that's the thing. It's not just IERE Village. It's communities within Trinidad. Because Tobago have their own thing. But it's communities within Trinidad. And communities, if you have enough positive feedback from the communities, instead of watching news, people could listen to your news because it's positive. I don't look at news, I don't listen to radio. Period. Right? If it's important, I'll hear it through the social media or I hear it through people's ears. But every time you put on the news, it's negative because negative sells. However, if you have an entity or an organization that don't need money to sell, then that's where you're really going to use to get correct information. And not just correct information, but the right information. Whereas the media is directly propagated by propaganda most of the time. Right? So hence the reason why when they said, you need support? No, I do my PhD up to now. I asked for a single dollar from the university because I told them, I said, I don't need it. Give it to somebody who needs it. Right? And it's the same thing. If it is that I want to do a road, I see, hey, my wife just had to pay $3,500 for a tire because our pothole cut it for she car, one tire. Then here we go, guys, it's cheaper for me to fix the road than to go and change 4 tires. So that's how I think. I don't look at the direct monetary feedback. I look at the long term. I see way down. Right? Yeah, I had to T20 vision so I could see real far. I just look real far. And yeah, to T20. And my wife and the others around me might sometimes be, combative about why you're doing this, why you're doing that, why you're doing the next. But again, a giraffe could see a little different tortoise. Right? And that's the reality. And whether it's my wife, whether it's my brother, whether it's anybody, the only person I could communicate properly with is my son. Because he have the imagination of a child. He's a dreamer. So he and I have the best conversations, especially on a Saturday when we go to ride horse and play golf and do archery and play piano and all kind of thing. And I'm sure it's the same thing up to a point for a lot of people. But a lot of people have good ideas, but they just don't know how to execute on the ideas. And this is where I think communities could come together and share information, and that's what I asked for. Share information, come together and cooperate, so that the good things that they want to get done could be championed by a group of people, right? Or people who could actually have the resources to do so. And that's
No, you.
So we travel a lot, my son, my wife and myself. And in traveling, we see good things. And we see things that you don't find in Trinidad because the culture here is, where's the price, where's the price, where's the price? And if it is that we see good things, we try to figure out if that could work for us. And we trap that and bring it back. And so one of our workers, one of our employees, she was pregnant. And when I was in China, I was like, you know what, I'll do a pod for her so that when she comes, she could breastfeed quietly. So we got that. My son, he designs on Minecraft. So in school, they have some little things in private school he goes to. They have a little they have a little sensory room. So he's like, Dad, what about if we design a meditation room and a gaming sensory room? I was like, okay, you design it, I'll build it. And so he designed it on Minecraft, and when we built it, he's 11. He just wrote SCA. So when he designs things, when we discuss things, he will design it, and I will help him build it. Because if I don't use that level of imaginary intelligence. And I just let him, yeah, that's a good idea, but I don't let him see that come into fruition. Then the idea just gone to waste. And so when we're doing stuff, we ask the guys before we actually build, what do they think about this? It makes sense or it don't make sense? What do they put all the 2 cents into it? And that's how we come up with designs. And it doesn't have to be a direct cost contributing payback. It's something that adds value. If Google could have things like that, we could have things like that. And hence the reason why when people from Huawei, China, and all over the Latin Caribbean and Latin America, come here, and they ask us, you have a studio? No, we don't, but we could put it in, and hence the reason we're standing right now in the studio. Because anything that you want, we outfit it for. And as time goes on, we'll have an area there that you could do voice recordings. We'll have an area there for podcasts. We'll have an area there for media. We'll have areas that you have the infrastructure here that you could change out and adjust to whatever you want, just like the building. Everything is on wheels. The infrastructure is in there for anything and everything. You know, some people have different things as their superhero blessing. My superhero blessing is design. I wanted to be an architect, but I couldn't go to university, so I had to go to school in the night and work in the day. Now, I have a PhD. But again, you had to walk home from school sometime because you don't have money to travel. And the reality is today, if it is that you see merit, not for you sometime, but for the community, you do. And as the American Constitution says, those with the responsibility to do, or with the ability to do, has a responsibility to do. So if I don't do it, who else is going to do it? And that's the whole philosophy about how I do my stuff. So you'll see amazing stuff here from all over the world. However, if I don't bring it here, who else is going to bring it here? Nobody. And if it is that we could discuss it here and say that's a nice idea, just like how Victor and the Baba Boy talk about doing something for the old people, I say, it's okay, let me discuss it and let me put some structure in it and let me do something good. Because doing something, yeah, you might do something, but it's good. And too many times people want to say that they do something because they want to say that they do something. It's not about saying you do something. Do it, but do it good. And our motto is do it better. So my name is Rakesh Suku, Doctor, Managing Director of IERE Concepts Limited. Right? And I believe in creating an amazing environment for people to work and grow together so that we can have better things for those to come.